Hi everybody on here. Oh my goodness, I have been trying all day to film this video and I was really intending on filming outside, and then I've had all kinds of camera issues today. Tried to film with my phone, then that didn't work. So there probably was an energetic thing in the spot where I was that just didn't want to film. I came home, I tried to film again. So it's been a crazy day, but I'm getting this video out to you. And I'm really grateful the camera is working right now, so that's a good thing. And we're going to try to just get through all of this. There will be a meditation at the end of it. And so this month, what I wanted to do was to talk about alignment and what that is about for us. Because alignment is a really powerful thing, and in codes, alignment is about freedom. It's about the ability to do and be who we are. It is about being able to do things in our own way. And this is incredibly powerful, especially in a day and time where we have so much that can feel restricted, so much which tries to command how we will do things, what we will do, when we will do them. And oftentimes we have to let go in this process, and that's something I really want to share about. Now, what happens a lot of times is we fall into these tricks and we get into these spaces where we think we're in alignment, and then we come and find out, oh, maybe we're not in alignment, right? So this can be a really challenging thing, especially when you've been on your path for a long time, or even if you're just starting out, because it's very easy to get frustrated when you're just starting out, and it's very easy when you've got a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience to also get frustrated when something isn't working out for us. So oftentimes what we want to really do when we're looking at working with something is to really not only tune into our intent, but to get into that objective space and really take a look at what's happening and what we're aligning to, because our alignment with things can be quite powerful. And usually we're looking at things like our home, our work, the people we spend a lot of time with, because those are the things that are having the greatest influence in our sphere. Wherever we spend the most amount of time, or whoever we spend the most amount of time with, is going to have the greatest amount of influence in our sphere. So that being taken into consideration, oftentimes we will be around people because we feel an obligation to be around them. We will be in a job or work environment because we feel like that's the only thing we can do to earn money at a particular time. And sometimes we are in those survival modes. Sometimes we have to take what's available in the moment. But then that doesn't mean we should just remain there and stay stuck there, because the longer we're in something that is out of alignment for us, then the more chaos it can create in our lives, the more challenges, the more conflict it can create in our life. And chaos is this really huge piece that we don't think a whole lot about. But chaos is a disruptor for success. Chaos is a disruptor for keeping us from receiving the acknowledgement that we should be getting in things. And I don't mean that from an ego space, but oftentimes if you are getting overlooked in something, if you are getting cut off in things, if everybody around you is being acknowledged and nobody is recognizing your piece of things, while we can easily attach that to the ego, it's a big awareness that there is chaos about. It's a big awareness that chaos is active in our life, and somewhere we are in conflict, somewhere we are in a contradiction, somewhere we are not in alignment with what we're doing. So for example, we can take a look, and let's say I am out and I have a job and I'm doing merchandising. And I might love merchandising. I might love arranging things, making them neat, making them orderly, whatever it is. But there may be other conflicts that go on there. So, when we look at these things, we really want to look at it. Somebody might say, hey, I don't mind doing this secretarial work, or I don't mind doing these files or answering calls or working with customers or whatever the case is. But when they get down to it, they might have a conflict with things that that company carries, or the things that that company promotes, or who they're backed by. So we might look at something, for example, a health food company. There's been Whole Foods is a big thing right now, right? Because over the last few years, Amazon took them over. So a lot of people used to really love Whole Foods, but then they saw as soon as Amazon took it over, there were these changes in these aspects, and there were a lot of people they didn't want to support Amazon. So that created a conflict every time they went in and shopped at that store. And it became more and more aggravating. Well, every time we're spending, say, in a work environment, and we can't support the products, say, that a company is selling, or what they're doing, or the impact that they're having on the earth, or whatever that is creating a conflict for us. Every time we go and we spend time in that environment or around somebody who maybe has different morals, different values, and things like that than ourselves. And that doesn't mean that we have to be exclusive and never deal with those people, but we have to be attentive to the time that we're spending with them and how much time we're giving to them, because we start supporting all of those things. Wherever we are putting our presence, wherever we are existing, wherever we are standing, wherever we are being, then that is what we are giving our energy to. And you don't get to just pick and choose. And I've talked a little bit about that in the past. But this alignment piece is really, really powerful. So I wanted to address it because it also affects our ability to magnetize things in our life. When we are in conflict, we are not having an internal peace going on for ourselves. When we are not in internal peace, we cannot magnetize things into our life. We cannot create the results that we want to create. And this leads me to another point, because so many times we get wrapped up in our processes. And this is one of the things, and I see it with a lot of even very, very experienced spiritual workers and people who are very active and very sincere on their path. And they still may look to a particular meditation to give them peace, or look to a certain type of music. And while those things can be great catalysts, the key is for us to not rely on those things, but to find that peace and to learn how to live. And this is how many of the big yogis and gurus and people like that are at peace with everything that's happening in the world, because they stop worrying about it all. They stop giving their attention to it, and they come back to center, and they choose. It's a choice. It's an active choice to feel the peace. And you have to feel it. It's not just an intention. You have to allow yourself to truly, truly feel it. And there may be some processes to break through. But one of the places we get hung up is we also, not just in tools outside of ourselves, but in processes themselves. And we start relying on the process, and we do a process and we think, I'm going to get this outcome. If I make a breakthrough and I break through this process and I see this process through that I'm dealing with, and I break through my addiction to something, or I break through my fear of something, then all of a sudden I will be healed, or all of a sudden I will have an abundance of money coming into my life, or all of a sudden everything's going to go right in my life. So this is one of those really subtle ways that we can fall into a dependency on something outside of ourselves. Okay, it's fine to use the tools to help us get to our inside self, but what we really want to do is make sure we're getting fully into our inside self, fully feeling it. And this is where we have to look at the conflicts. This is where we have to look at the alignments in our life. Because when we start to do that, if we're holding conflicts, we're going to shut down our ability to feel that peace. Okay, so this becomes a really powerful cycle in our life, and this is where we have to start making those things a priority. When we look and we find conflict in our life, we want to keep taking the steps and make it an active priority to change out of that and to find that work environment or that living space or those people in our life that can allow us to be in peace, allow us to be ourselves, allow us to be free in life, allow us to truly be who we are and support that for us. And this is one of the reasons why I've told a lot of spiritual practitioners, you need to come into like environments. You need to come into alignment with like-minded people. And this is not about excluding people. This is about coming into your alignment. And I want to make that very clear, because we're not going to exclude somebody just because we're not choosing to be around them or choosing to have a lot of contact with them. There's two different things going on there. When you totally are excluding somebody, you're fully blocking them out of your life. When you are coming into alignment and choosing not to spend as much time around them, what you're doing is allowing your full power, your full energy to be open. And if we are standing in environments or situations of conflict, our energy cannot fully open because our energy is getting drained out into those environments, into those spaces and those people and those places and those situations. And so we can't be in our whole self when we are dealing with all of these distractions, when we are dealing with these various components that are pulling us out of our whole self. So when we come into alignment, certainly anybody is welcome into that space if they also want to be where we're at. If they also want to be in that space and share that space of peacefulness with us, of serenity with us, then great. I'm there. I'll welcome anybody in. Even if they're not there right now, if they choose to be there later on, I think that's a powerful piece, as long as they're going to be in that space with me and not ask me to go into their spaces because I'm not going to want to be in their spaces of chaos and everything else. Now, when we talk about this aspect of peace, I think it's also very, very important to realize that it's great to be in all these spiritual processes, but we do also have these physical needs, and that comes into where people start to need. The human self needs to see some tangible results. The human self has a need to open and experience and to be provided for, so that it doesn't have to be in survival mode, because survival mode can damage the body very strongly, and that's going to create an automatic conflict for us. So, again, continuing to refine, continuing to make the adjustments to bring ourselves into these alignment spaces, bring ourselves into something where when we go to work, we can feel good, not just about the job we're doing, but about the company that we're working for or the people we're working for and what they're doing and what they're promoting in the world. If they're promoting, hey, spray a bunch of chemicals and destroy our earth, that may create a conflict for you if you love the environment and if that's your true nature. If you are going into a job and they're promoting being healthy and they're promoting an active lifestyle and they're promoting you taking care of yourself and they're doing things to help you support your well-being, well, chances are you're going to be in alignment there. So there's a lot of different pieces, of course, that have to come together for us to really find that big, big picture of everything. But this is a starting point, and an incredibly powerful starting point for us to work with. Now, when I start to get into some of these aspects of magnetizing, the space of peace that I talk about, peace does not necessarily mean that we don't have challenges. It does mean that we're removing the conflict in our life. It does mean that we are stepping out of what is not in alignment for our true self. It does not mean that we won't ever have to face something that we don't like or that we'll never have a fear again necessarily. It just means that we will be able to get through anything that comes up. and that it will not have an impact on us. Now, a powerful aspect of this is to come to peace with whatever the solutions are. We may not like all of the solutions, but if we are at peace with all of the solutions that can happen, and again, we don't want to put our focus or big attention on the negative aspects or the ones that are really detrimental for us. But when we're at peace with it all, and we're at peace with going through whatever has to be gone through, then we open ourselves up to the best possible outcomes. Jessie was a master of this. She did this repeatedly on the road with Orly. She used the state of peace to get her through losing the only source of income she had. She used the state of peace to get her through living on a handful of pumpkin seeds for a week. She used that peace to get her through facing minus 30, minus 40 degree temperatures in South Dakota in winter in her vehicle. She used that to see her through when the challenges came up. And then she learned to hold that in her heart. And this is something that where I come from, where I am connected to in the energy of the Magi's, it is available to everybody. But it is something that we actively choose to tap into because we realize that it is in this surrender process, it is in this letting go that we start to see the results that we had most hoped to see. And I think that that's such a powerful piece because so many people become afraid to surrender in to whatever needs to be done because it's not what they want to do, because they're so busy fighting it. They're so busy being in conflict with things. But when we enter that peace, the real shift can happen. How many times have you been in a situation and you felt like you're hitting a wall and you weren't getting anywhere and you weren't getting any responses and nothing was moving and nothing was happening? And this is really true because when we're in conflict and we're in chaos and we're in this controversy, it's deliberately through codes, it shows us that it interrupts our peace. It interrupts our flow for success. It interrupts our ability to act with wisdom. So when we enter with peace, we reestablish a connection that we can act with wisdom. When we enter into peace, we are surrendering and letting go of trying to force things or see things a particular way. And we open ourselves to all possibilities. And I know over and over again, the second I have been able to let go is when I see my results. I couldn't tell you how many times I finally will hit a point and I'll just say, that's it, I'm letting this all go. Wherever it goes, it goes. And I'm going to be okay no matter what. And I let myself feel that peace within. And it won't be 24 hours before things start hitting and coming through and I start getting answers and everything starts moving again. That restriction, that constriction we put onto things by not being into peace creates and maintains turbulence in our life. And I don't think any of us need that. And it also blocks our ability to receive because nothing wants to magnetize towards what is restrictive, to what is going to constrict it. Everything wants its freedom. Everything wants to be able to be what it is and who it is. We all want that in some aspect. We all want to be able to be who we are. And everything that flows in this universe wants that as well. So it naturally repels away from anything that is going to be restrictive or has a lot of structured guidelines to it. Yes, we want to be clear, but we don't want to be overly structured. So that is this month's video, and I hope it's a powerful one for you because when we are dealing with all these energies of lies, and this is very aligned with our new moon energy right now, as well as the energy that is in September. And we've been through a lot of months here where it's been a lot of deceptive energy, a lot of lies, a lot of manipulation, this type of energy going on, and that can get very draining because we have a conflict with that. And our natural human self wants to fight and engage in competition and to make the truth be seen. But when we surrender, we release, we let go, when we find peace within us, then that conflict disappears. Then the lies and the deception and the truth and everything is able to take care of itself from there. Now, this month, I've got my singing bowl here, so we're going to tap into a little meditation. I thought it was really appropriate, given this topic and given everything that's going on, to use magnetic lodestones. And I hope, I'm trying to get you can see I've got magnets on there as well in the lodestones. So I thought it might be really fun to kind of work with the lodestone energy in the singing bowl, because the singing bowl, of course, is always activating things for us. And to be able to come at peace in a way, use this meditation to come into a peace in a way that opens up that magnetic energy for us. And magnetic energy isn't just about manifesting, but it's about releasing the blocks. So when you're needing something to come through in life and you're feeling very stuck, that magnetic energy allows it to come through. And true magnetic energy, as we look at it, like in the law of attraction and things like that, of course, is wherever we put our attention. So if our attention is on our own inner peace, then we're going to draw in everything to nurture that. We're going to draw in what will support that in us and what will provide that for us. And we will place ourselves to automatically and much more effortlessly be able to remove whatever the blocks are and to naturally magnetize things in towards us. So peaceful energy is very, very magnetic. I think part of that is because when we're peaceful, we have a confidence. We have a space in us that knows everything's okay. We're allowing that to become present. We're allowing that to surface and become the primary energy instead of a secondary or third or fourth or fifth energy in our life. So that's why it becomes magnetic. And if you look at somebody who's very peaceful, people will draw to them. They don't tend to interrupt them. They don't tend to disturb them. They just draw to them. And it's almost as if they can't resist. It's like watching the monks chant, or it is like watching a guru in meditation, or anybody who has found that. People will notice them. People will they can't keep it from happening because of how clear and how pure and how open and receptive and accepting they are. And I want that for everybody. I want everybody to be able to feel that peace no matter what they're going through, because I know how that sees us through the human challenges and the human pieces of life. So let's get on with this. Go ahead and find yourself that space. Get a little comfortable now. And let's just take a few minutes here to tune into this meditation. And let's start with some breaths. Maybe you want to put your hand on your heart. I just automatically went there because the other one's holding the singing bowl right now. So let's just breathe in deep. And go again. And one more deep breath. And now I just want you to focus in for a minute. I want you to find that sense of peace, that sense of aspect of what it feels like when you're just bathed in so much love and you just feel so much love in your heart. You just say, you know what? I don't want to focus on anything else right now but feeling good. I just want to focus on this calmness, this peacefulness. I just want to focus on that. And if there's anything, I want you to hold for a minute and just think about where you might have been in conflict. Where have you been maybe fighting something? And fighting isn't always resisting, but fighting can simply be insisting on a particular outcome. Sometimes we call it fighting for something instead of against something. So we really want to shift and say, what am I going to align my energy into? Instead of fighting energy, what if I aligned with being in peace with my own processes? What if I aligned with simply being a peaceful person? And I want you to just say, hey, I'm no longer interested in this conflict. I'm no longer interested in all of the chaos. I'm choosing to use different tools now. And the tool I'm choosing is peace. Breathe into that. And decide at this time what you would like to open up for yourself. If you're willing to allow peace to open you to the greater possibilities, the greatest possible options that are available to you. Will you surrender yourself into peace? Will you allow peace to move through every situation in your life? Because we know that peace is the presence of God. Peace is the presence of pure energy, pure love. And that vibration can always bring us into the best possible options. allow yourself to enter into not only intention, but the full feeling of peace pouring through you. Feeling that with every fiber and essence of your body. This is a true gift for your human self. This is a true decadence. Not to get a certain result, but to simply experience the ecstasy that peace offers us. Let yourself feel the ecstasy of peace. Let it resonate through every soul in your body, every cell in your body. Will you allow yourself to be in peaceful settings and situations and with peaceful people? No matter how wild they can be, are they peaceful? Will you allow yourself to accept the invitation to be in freedom of who you are? And will you allow yourself to turn to peace at any moment that chaos and conflict become evident for you? And will you allow yourself to move into letting peace be a constant state to live in? Breathe deeply into that all. Take note of where you're at. Breathe into releasing any place you are in conflict and choosing peace instead. And allow yourself now to live in a state of peace, so that you can be a magnet for greater peace. And that you can also be a channel for peace to exist wherever you are. And come back here with me by taking a couple of deep breaths, retuning into your connection with your human body, retuning into your breath and this space. You know, it's always wise to do the basics of hydrating afterwards, but I want you to take note first of what you're feeling right now. Maybe anything that you were able to release. The state of truly feeling, truly embracing, truly being something like this is a powerful piece for us to get right now. With all the things that we have in our world, and there are plenty that is not in this alignment. With all of the technology we have in the world, all of the electronics and gadgets and everything else, we tend to give our peace away. We tend to find conflict because we lose connection with nature. But it only takes being in peace to find that resonance. And you can be in the most peaceful surroundings and feel chaotic. And you can be in the most chaotic surroundings and feel peace. The choice is yours. So I hope that you will choose alignment. I hope that you will choose what serves you best in this world, and that is to be you. That is to honor yourself. That is to speak your voice, to walk your path, to be who you are. And to be at peace wherever you are, no matter what. And to adjust those things that interrupt it. Lots to think about there. Take care, everybody. We are moving into amazing times, and they won't always be the easiest of times, but they can be truly amazing, and they can bring us amazing gifts. But that starts with us, and that starts with ourselves. And I say it over and over again, but you always have the power within you. God appears through the tools to help you connect, but God's within you. The divine presence is within you. You are that energy. You're never separated from it. So embrace it, be it, love it, and accept it. Until next month, and may each of you have a very peaceful month. Take care.